So now we're going to perform a step that is going to lead us to doing confidence intervals in our next exercises in 10.2. Right now, we're just going to perform this step without really knowing where it's going yet. And once we've got the step, it'll be easier to do our 10.2 later on. So we're going to find something known as critical values. We're going to see that this process is going to be the same regardless of what percentage of a confidence interval we want. So our first exercise says find the critical values for a 95% confidence interval. So our first thing that we're going to always do when looking for critical values is we're going to change our 95% into a decimal, 0.95, and we're going to subtract it from 1. So 1 minus 0.95 is equal to 0.05. Then we're always going to take whatever we got when we subtracted and divide it by 2. So 0.05 divided by 2 is 0.025. Then we're going to use Excel, and one of the formulas that we've used before on Excel, and we're going to look up a value for Z. So here's Excel. I can put it into any of the cells that I want to. We're going to use equal norm.s.inv, and we're going to put 0.025, the calculation we got just a moment ago, into the parentheses and hit enter. And you'll notice it gives us negative 1.95996. Now, depending upon our homework and where it tells us to round this, we can round this off. Generally, we're going to round to 2 decimal places. So we'll call this negative 1.96. So Z is negative 1.96. Now, in the case of a confidence interval, there are always 2 critical values. The first one we'll get will always be negative, and the second one will actually be the positive of that value. So our 2 critical values for a 95% confidence interval are negative 1.96 and positive 1.96. All right, so let's do another one. Find the critical values for a 90% confidence interval. So we start the same way. We're going to subtract 90% as a decimal from 1. That gives us 0.10. We're going to take our 0.10 and divide it by 2. That gives us 0.05. And now we're going to put our 0.05 into our Excel formula. So remember that was equal norm.s.inv, 0.05, hit enter, and we get negative 1.64 if we round to 2 decimal places. So Z is negative 1.64, and of course my other value is its opposite, 1.64. Now let's do one more. Find the critical values for an 80% confidence interval. Starting the same way, 1 minus 80% as a decimal, so 0.80 gives us 0.20. Divide 0.20 by 2, we get 0.10. And now let's look up 0.10 using our Excel formula. Equal norm.s.inv, put the 0.20 in, and we get negative 0.84. Z is negative 0.84, and of course its opposite, 0.84.